What is going on, everybody? My name is Chapter, and welcome to my favorite completions of 2021. Today, I'll be talking to you about my favorite games in which I got the full 1000 gamer score, and hopefully be able to convince you to play them. Just to make everything clear, this is not a list of my games of the year, and they are not in any particular order. Alright, so this year has been an amazing year for me gamer score wise, with a total of 264,000 gamer score and 178 completions. 6 of them came out at the top of my list, and I'm super excited to share them with you today. So let's waste no time and see number 1. For those that truly knows me, already knows this is going to be part of this list, and I'm of course talking about Immortals Fenyx Rising, the action-adventure game from Ubisoft Quebec that came out in December 2020. With just over 1800 gamer score, including their 3 DLCs, Fenyx Rising took me just over 110 hours of gameplay for the full completion, and about 80 hours for the base game by taking my sweet time. This game is one of the most colorful games I've ever played, and I just couldn't get bored of the color palette it had to offer. With an estimated time of 40 to 50 hours, the achievement list never felt repetitive or made me feel like I was running errands. Even though there's a good amount of collectibles, some are not necessarily hidden and do not require guides since you get them through natural progression and exploration. None of the achievements really felt hard either, but the most annoying to me was definitely more than 12 labors, which required me to complete a set of 36 tasks, and I promise you that not all of them were fun. Immortals Fenyx Rising was my 2020 game of the year, and I'm super proud of this completion, and I couldn't recommend it enough. So make sure to add it to your wish list and get it on the next Ubisoft sale. Mass Effect is a series I've heard of but never gave a chance to for some reason. When they announced the remastered trilogy and I saw all the hype around it, I immediately knew I wanted to be part of it and decided to pre-order the game. Still today, I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Luckily for me, the game released during my vacation in May, so I had plenty of time to enjoy the story and be part of the conversation. With an estimated time of 100 to 120 hours for the full completion, I was able to finish with a playtime of 120 hours of pure fun and feels. After playing the 3 games one after the other, I can easily say the Mass Effect 2 was my favorite. It was so easy for me to get lost in the lore and want to know everything about every character in every race there was. The way the game played was also a big upgrade that I immediately noticed and was grateful for, even if I enjoyed every minute of Mass Effect 1. Alright, maybe a little bit less when I was forced to do a 3rd playthrough in the same week, but let's not talk about that right now. After the announcement of the Legendary Edition, Mass Effect was all over Twitter and people were sharing their memories and their love and hate of the game. The 3rd one was mostly not people's favorite, but I really wanted to have my own opinion of Mass Effect 3, so I decided to play it without any assumption, and I'm happy to say that I loved it. It was just like the other games, a roller coaster of emotions, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Now let's take a look at the achievement list, alright? The game has a big total of 2,915 gamer score, which is very odd since most games that has 3 games in one usually have the full 3,000 Gs. With a list of 127 achievements, none of them were really that bad to get, except for one that I'll get to in a minute. But the most stressful thing for me was the amount of missable achievements in that list. A big 45 achievements were missable, and like I said, I've never played those games before, so I wanted to go as blind as I could. I did use the help of TA and my friend Matt to try and get all those achievements in a single playthrough without any spoilers. For the most part, I did. Except for one. The achievement is called Completionist from Mass Effect 1 and requires you to finish the game with most of the quests completed. The weird thing about this achievement is the fact that no one gets this at the same time. It's random for everyone. Since I missed my chance the first time around, I decided to start a brand new playthrough and see how fast I could get this. I was really surprised to see that it only took me 4 hours of playing on easy. Other than that, this completion is the most fun I've had in a very long time, so don't sleep on Mass Effect Legendary. This game really came out of nowhere for me. I remember playing this game on the 360, but let's say that this wasn't really fun as a French kid who couldn't speak a single word in English. The driving around part was fun, but I remember telling myself that I should probably just go back on GTA and blow stuff up. Now that I can actually speak English and was able to understand what was going on, The part of the game where you need to do your job as a detective was a lot more fun. It was so easy for me to get lost in the streets of LA, cruising around with my suits and actually feeling like I was in the 40s. Every investigation felt like a new adventure, and that's what made this game so exciting for me. With a total of 1500 gamer score for the base game, L.A Noire has an estimated completion time of 40 to 50 hours, which is pretty much how long it took for mine. The achievement list had a nice variety to it, but there was one of them that I hated going for, and that's the City of the Angels. The City of the Angels requires 100% of the game, and by 100%, they really meant 100%. Even finding and entering every single car of the game. Now that doesn't sound that bad, but the really annoying part was not knowing what you were missing and having to find the ones that you didn't have in your collection yet. Throughout my playthrough, I probably entered and exited at least 400 cars hoping to see my numbers go up. The rest of the 100% list was pretty straightforward and they were required for the other achievements anyway. Other than that, I can honestly say that this was one of my favorite completion of the year and I would love to get that stackable on the Xbox 360 as well. What can I say about Control other than wow? I came to this game right after finishing my first playthrough of Alan Wake and what a blast this was. I've never played Remedy games before and I can tell that I was missing out. The story and the intriguing origin of protagonist Jesse Faden was mainly what was stopping me from putting my controller down. That and of course the really fun gunplay and abilities that made the game even more fun as time went on. With a total of 67 achievements, DLC included, the completion took me about 50 hours using guides for some collectibles like the cats. But something that I wish games did more is the fact that you do not need to collect every single collectible for the achievements. They can be done by simply exploring the game as you play. Control has a triple stack, which means the game has a separated list on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. That means you can complete the game 3 times for a total of 4,170 gamer score, and I can definitely say that I'm planning on doing so. I hope we see Control 2 in the future, and if we do, you'll be able to watch it right here on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll be completely honest, I was not expecting to fall in love with Borderlands when I started playing this game. It was just one of those rare situations where I just couldn't stop playing and I was so invested in the story. I also just love the type of games where you constantly upgrade your gear and can easily change the way you play depending on the situation or your mood. Let's be honest, this game looks damn good on the Series X. The average completion time for Borderlands 3 is 60 to 80 hours and took me about 90 by just taking my time and enjoying the game and its universe. If we include the 6 DLCs, it brings the total gamer score to 2,175 with an extra 30 hours for the true completion. Now looking back at the long list, the only achievement that gave me trouble was Slaughterhouse 3, which requires you to finish all the circles of slaughter with or without a partner. But since I had no friends, I had to do it solo. Even with the DLCs being pricey and requiring 2 separate season pass, I really wanted the true completion and I had so much fun doing them all. I absolutely love this game and I'm super excited for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands to drop early 2022. Code Vein was my biggest surprise of 2020 and it truly introduced me to Bandai Namco. It's the main reason why I even gave a try to games like Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise, which I also completed and loved. As someone who always wanted to get into Soul-like games, I think Code Vein is perfect to get started since it's not too easy, but challenging enough to have fun. Even though the story wasn't that interesting, the characters on the other hand were unique enough for me to pay attention and follow along. The game also offers a good amount of weapons and abilities, which makes builds and combat styles really fun to play with. Alright, let's take a look at the achievement list. With a total of 43 achievements, Code Vein takes about 60 to 80 hours to complete and took me 85 hours of gameplay to finish. The thing to keep in mind is there's 3 different endings and they're all required for the 1000 Gs. The fun thing about this though, is how you can do New Game Plus and try out different builds to keep things as fresh as possible. The only missable achievements were those different endings, which made the completion pretty chill and the collectibles were all really easy to find. Overall, they were all really fun to go for, except for a really odd one called Exalted Reputation. Now you need to understand that the multiplayer system in this game is really bad and is in my opinion, not made to play with others. This achievement requires you to kill bosses in co-op over and over again to gain medals and raise your reputation rank to 30, which takes about 8 to 10 hours. If you think this sounds boring, it's because it is. The most efficient way to do it is to kill the same 5 bosses over and over again, and it's the only reason why I completed the game a year later. Other than that, the completion was super fun to go for, and that is why it is part of my favorite completion of 2021. I played so many great games this year, and I'm so thankful to have the chance to do so. I'm very confident that next year is going to be really big for video games, and if you'd like to follow what I play and complete, make sure to follow me on Twitter @ChapterPlays and to add me on True Achievements @Chapter. If you like playthroughs, I also do those on my channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. Thank you for taking the time to watch this until the end, and Happy New Year to everyone.